Another accumulation method you can use, which combines regular reps with isometric holds, is isometric post-fatigue. So basically, I'm using that isometric hold at the end of a regular set because I can probably hold more weight than I can lift. So even when I can't lift the weight anymore, I can still probably hold an isometric contraction at some point in the range of motion. Now, even though I'm not moving the weight, I still have to contract those muscle fibers. In fact, during an isometric contraction, I can recruit up to 10% more fast twitch fibers because I'm depriving my muscle of oxygen. It also allows me to fully fatigue those recruited fibers, creating greater training effect. And as I mentioned several times, when a muscle is being contracted, which happens during an isometric contraction, blood flow inside that muscle is greatly reduced. As a result, the muscle becomes deprived of oxygen and cannot clear out lactic acid. Both situations increases the release of anabolic hormones, growth factors inside that muscle, IGF-1, MGF, which actually will help gain more muscle mass even in the absence of like micro trauma or stuff like that. You're just creating the best physiology to create muscle growth. It obviously also increases mind-muscle connection because you have to fully contract that muscle. The advantage of using isometric holds instead of a drop set, for example, is that an isometric hold burns a lot less energy, a lot less glycogen than regular reps. As a result, the cortisol increase from that set will be much lower than a regular exercise. Now, the lower the cortisol release can be while having the same effect on the muscle fibers, same stimulation, the more muscle growth I'll have. That's why a natural trainee should look for methods that will allow for the lowest amount of glycogen burn during the training session. Because glycogen depletion or using a lot of glycogen during the session leads to an increase in cortisol, which will hurt, or if not completely stop, your muscle growth. Remember this, if you do too much volume, not only will you not progress more, you might actually not progress at all or even lose muscle mass. So it's really important to modulate. You can either train hard or train a lot, and it's always better to train hard than train a lot. So here with the post-fatigue, I would start my regular set. For example, I could do my 8 to 10, and when I hit a point of failure, for example, then I would take the position I can still hold, and then I would hold there for about 20, 30 seconds, the longest I can take. I want to keep the tension on the shoulders. I don't want to compensate with the traps, for example. I can actually play with the position. And I will do myself. Now, the position of the hold can be either, depending on which muscle you're training, at the peak tension position, the position we can feel the better contraction. Could also be done in the stretched position, which has many additional benefits. For example, if I'm doing dumbbell flies, then holding the pause in the bottom position has many positive impact, mostly on activating mTOR, which is responsible for triggering protein synthesis, and also improving the range of motion of that muscle. So if you can feel tension in a muscle in a stretched position, that is the optimal position to do your isometric holds in. But as in the case of lateral raise, here I feel maximum tension. So that is the position where I should be doing my isometric hold. So it really depends on the exercise. But in most cases, it would be in the maximum tension position. Remember, this is only to create more fatigue in the muscle fibers involved in the muscle.